Hello everyone. Welcome to Novel Nights Live. I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And just us two here today, or trio or third isn't here. Francesca, I know you all miss her. We'll give you an update on where Francesca is in a minute. But today we are talking about all the bookish tea, all the juicy gossip. It's a gossip sesh, okay? So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy and cozy because we're going to be spilling all the tea.
I'm Francesca.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And welcome to Novel Nights. Yay! Welcome to Novel Nights. Super excited that you guys are here joining us. Let us know in the comments how your week has been going and what's new. But for starters, it's just Laura and I today. Francesca is not here because guess what? The state of Florida is under either hurricane watch or warning or evacuation or something. So where I'm located, it's under hurricane-like watch. You know, be careful with the rain and possible flooding, little wind, but nothing too major because I'm on the other side of Florida. But Laura is reporting live, coming to you live from the side of Florida where the hurricane actually is coming in. So that's why Francesca is not here. Laura, how are things? How's the weather?
So we lost power yesterday for a couple hours, and everyone in my building was like, you cannot expect it to, it's going to happen. But we got the power back last night, which I was really surprised because he told us we wouldn't get it until today or like Saturday. So we got the power, and it's been raining on and off throughout the day. It's just getting worse right now. The eye is near Clearwater, which is about 45 minutes from where I live, near Francesca. And so we're just getting rain and wind, and it's just like an event. As you can see, there's chairs in the back. There was a table. I just moved it so you don't see it. But I had to bring all my stuff from inside. But hopefully it shouldn't be a big deal. But everything's closed here in Tampa. It doesn't look good. I don't watch so much news, so I'll probably watch aftermath. But I saw a bridge that was closed, but it did not look good. So
yeah, and even on our side of Florida, schools are out. So schools have been out all today, going to be out tomorrow because we've been getting like tornado warnings and again, just heavy wind gusts. But guess what? Laura and I have brought our friend in to come and chat all the juicy tea and gossip with us. So I'm super excited to welcome Kelly. Hi.
Thank you so much for having me back again. It's always a treat to see both of your faces.
I'm so glad you're here. We can't wait to talk about all the gossip. But before we get into it, like, how has your week been? What's new with you? Because I know we're all here just to talk about the tea, but let's get a life update first.
I do love the tea. I am always here for the tea. But I will say today is super exciting for me because I actually hit publish on my 4th book today. So I pressed the button. It's official. It's off to Amazon. It's in their hands now. And it comes out next Monday, September 30th.
Ooh, there you go. You heard it here first. So Kelly, tell us really quick about your book, plug it, and all the things.
Okay, yes, because we have to get to the tea. So in a nutshell, the book is called Pitches Be Crazy. It is a baseball romance. It is the 2nd book in my Rose City Roasters baseball series set here in the Pacific Northwest because I am on the opposite end of the country from the hurricanes. We are heading into fire season over here. And it is a plus size woman meets super sweet, gooey cinnamon roll baseball player boy that's 10 years younger than her. And she wants to hate him so badly, but just can't because he's that adorable. So yeah, it's kind of a mixture of all my favorite tropes. Grumpy sunshine, she's grumpy, age gap, she's older, he falls first, and of course, boys in tight baseball pants.
Yes, yes. Well, we're here for it. So September 30th, I'm writing it down. So I remember too. So I'll be sharing on the channels. But yeah, this is really, really exciting. So of course,
I have to
yes.
tell you that because I lost power, I was able to download it on my Kindle because you sent me the ARC, and I'm 50% in, and it is so good. It's like baseball, but playoff baseball season and fall. So it's like the perfect time to read it. So if you think about like baseball season's over, actually, this is a great time to read this book. It is fall season, it has all the goodness, and it has baseball. What else can you ask for?
Oh yeah, no, thank you for that endorsement.
And listen, people are talking about baseball because I was watching the news and every time they're giving us some update on the game. So baseball is still very much happening and people are still very much talking about it. Yes, kind of winding down, but I think it's perfect timing. So yeah, really excited for Kelly. So yay, pre-order folks, pre-order. But I will be reminding you all next week. In terms of what's new, Laura, anything new you're working on content-wise? What can we expect on the Substack?
So in the Substack, we're going to give you a lowdown about 10 audiobooks that I finished in the past 2 weeks. I've been finishing audiobooks, and there's actually listicles for fall reading. So if you're feeling like my cozy fall reading recommendations, I got Open Doors, Closed Door, books like Pumpkin Spice Latte. I'm going to do books like Gilmore Girls. Like we're going to do all the fall small town goodness. And there's a podcast episode about books like Tell Me Lies, but I'm not telling you thrillers. I'm doing toxic men hero, like toxic heroes, like horrible red flags, like what the fuck I am reading. And yet I am like loving this. So that's what I have in the Substack.
Yeah,
I love to read those kinds of heroes.
Yeah, so like, and they're so ruby red. They're so full of red flags, and you're like, oh, but they're yummy too.
In books, not in real life. Not in real life. We stay away from those.
Yeah, I go to therapy for that. So yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, with me, not much else is new except here on the channel. I'm doing 30 days of cozies. So I have been sharing a cozy mystery book every single day or a cozy mystery series with 5 books or less. It has been an absolute blast. We have some spooky books coming up. We have some witchy books coming up. We have romance coming up. So I've really enjoyed sharing that. Today we did day 9 of the 30 days of cozy. So go to the channel or search hashtag 30 days of cozies. And if you're just looking for some of the best new books to read, get the fall reading guide. It's been out. Go to fallreadingguide.com. And if you're interested in more books, right, you want to see all the books I actually read and loved and had under consideration for the guide, then what you need to get is the shortlist. And this is a Substack exclusive. So just go to the Biblio Lifestyle community on Substack. Just search that. Sign up to the newsletter and yeah, get the goodies. So I think that's it in terms of promo. Now I'm really just wanting to talk about the tea and the gossip. Now over here, right, we cite our sources. We cite the good people on social media who share the gossip, spread the gossip, right? I bow to the feet of these people. Now, honestly, I don't remember if it was Laura or Francesca who shared the original gossip, but I want to just give a big shout out to Jana Ann Books because she has been rounding up the gossip. I'm living for it. So we're just going to start with the OG gossip roundup that she did. And the first thing I want us to talk about is it ends with us and just all the tea around it. So again, citing more sources, Jana Ann Books said everyone's talking about the press around it ends with us, and especially asking why Justin Baldoni, Ryle, is not as active on the press circuit. What are we all thinking is going on? First off, did you all watch this? Do you have any takes on it? I don't engage with Colleen Hoover in that way, so I have nothing to say. But did you all see the tea about the press circuit?
Yes, but also I don't engage with Colleen Hoover like embroidered on a patch or something. Like, that's the funniest thing. And look, no shade. Well, maybe a little bit of shade to the to the people who do. I've just heard enough and read enough to not want that in my life. But I have been living for, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but we're in the same text thread, so maybe you do. I live for messy Hollywood press tours specifically. Like, I remember people talking about the 50 Shades of Grey press tour and how the two of them had no chemistry. The one a couple years ago, the Don't Worry Darling, I lived for that. I still, in my heart, I really hope that somebody makes a mini series someday that's just about the press tour for that movie. And this is how I feel about this one. Is I think we all got so caught up in what, is being said and then what's not being said. And then this person's doing this and this person's doing this, that it's so messy. And I love it. But then on the other side of it too, I do think because of the subject matter that's related to that book, I can't just be like, oh, I love a mess, because I'm also very disappointed in the way that this book to movie has been advertised as a, girls' night, rom-com movie night out. It's just so disrespectful to like the subject matter of domestic violence that I don't even care who's picking whose side in this. That should be the thing that we talk about, is that.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it got lost in the sauce, and I'm sorry. Again, I know I said I don't engage, and I really don't. And no disrespect. Look, if you love the author, God bless. But for me, it's not the feel-good fuzzies. For me, it had like lots of triggers for lots of people. And I just felt look, it's not everyone's responsibility to carry everyone's trauma, but I'm like, be mindful that this is what it's about. And also, don't be promoting alcohol when you're promoting a book about that, because I'm like, that's like fuel for people who are living in that crisis. I mean, Laura, what did you think?
Yeah. Well, the whole thing was just a mess. Then she promoted the hair care line that totally bombed in Target. It was not good. Like, it was like, sing your flower, girls, do flower crowns. I'm like, no, that's not the book. Like, it's just, it did not match what was the subject line. And at the same time, the mess, and then putting the men to be like, he's a toxic guy because he called me fat and he did this. And it's like, no, like, it's just like, it's just too. And the fact that she got her husband to write a love scene with the abuser,
that was weird. Like, I'm sorry, as a person who worked in Hollywood in screenwriting, I was like, I don't understand. Like, set aside all the drama from the press tour, I don't understand how that was allowed on like this set. I get that her husband is Ryan Reynolds, but at the same time, you don't just get to step in to somebody else's movie that you have zero involvement with, even if it's your wife starring in it, and then change some of the story or write a scene and the writer not even know about it. Like, I mean, it's insane.
It's called privilege. It's called privilege.
It's also think about it. Like, last year we had the writer strike, so he intervened and took a job that it's not his. Like, can we talk about, like, it's so icky, and it's like,
yeah,
it's just privilege. But we don't engage with Colleen Hoover, so just
don't engage. I don't engage. But anyway, it was definitely one of the bigger pieces of gossip. Again, thank you to Jana and Books for sourcing all of this. So let's do this quick roundup. So a publisher sent a sex toy in a book PR box. an arc. Reader was confused that there were errors in an arc. An editor said that indie authors do not deserve to ask for money from readers if they didn't invest enough in their book cover, editor, etc. Someone said that if they buy a book, even used, they should also get the ebook and audiobook for free. So these are like 3 different conversations. So let's deal with the influencer portion, publishing, PR, the fact that arcs have errors, and also the PR box drama. Like, where are we on this?
Well,
Oh boy.
I feel like, first of all, threats. If you're involved in the book influencer, every day you see someone who did not get a PR box, someone who wants a PR box, someone who got denied an arc, who want to get an arc, someone who got denied an influencer thing, someone who will do anything just to be in the influencer program. It's the same recycle drama, rage baiting. I don't know what you're doing, because it's not helping you in the situation. It just looks like you're thirsty. And it's just the same recycle thing. Like, obviously you're just getting like sympathy votes, but are you gonna get the book? No, it's not gonna get you the book.
To me, that's just influence, but also like first world problems. I mean, we're fighting over who got something for free. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Again, it's the privilege for me. But in terms of the PR box portion of it, I always believe in consent. Let people know ahead of time what is being sent, what is being asked of them. And I know, like, for me, from my position, because I do organize influencers, I do organize tours, so I'm coming at it from that position. I always try to ask ahead of time, like, what are we doing? Are we sending things? Are we not sending things? I mean, I've had situations where people will sign up for books and then they're like, oh, we're going to add something else after the fact. Give them a heads up, let them know. And I'm like, what are we sending? Because sometimes they're not even like telling me, this is wild. So I always have to ask, and I'm like, what is it? And I'm like, okay, cool. Y'all are going to get this. Y'all are going to get that. The end. I mean, even if it's a simple thing as a candle, I don't care. But yeah, I believe in consent. Ask people ahead of time before you send things to their doorstep, because, if you have kids, they might rip open into it. And that is a very real reality. Or you just did pick up and you're picking up, your packages from the door and you're opening things right there on your kitchen table. I mean, this is just a fact of life. So it would be good to have a heads up. It would be good to have
some lube and some sex toys on the side.
Just a little loop falls out. No, but I think that's a good point, Victoria, that you don't know, even if it's as simple as something like a candle, like you said, you don't know if somebody is allergic to something. You don't know. I mean, I think a lot about how I include not suitable for work artwork in signed paperbacks that I send out to people, but I always preface my signed paperback signups with, okay, here's what's coming inside. There's a piece of art, there's this, and there's that. So I think the other thing that made this particular incident with the promo box with the sex toys more widespreadly known was the fact that it was coming from a company that already was sort of under fire from readers. And it reminds me of the Blake Lively press tour thing, because the minute somebody falters, let's say, because we live in the year of Beyonce's internet, people will immediately start to find the things that may have come before then. And I think we saw that a lot with that press tour, and similarly with this PR box situation. People were very quick to point out that it was the same company that has had an almost year-long boycott against it from many readers.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I think that also comes up somewhere else. I'm just going to say really quick, indie authors deserve money. What they're doing is work, okay? Oftentimes more work than you'd even want to imagine. So yes, you get money for work. And if you buy a book, it doesn't entitle you to audio and ebook. Those are separate rights. But anyway, all right. No, we'll skip that one. Okay.
Sing it, girl.
Yeah, it's just like, I was just like going out to these things. Okay. I just screenshotted everything because I'm like, man, this girl is really, again, Jana and her books, God bless for the tea. Okay, does Okay, this is cyclical drama. Okay, we're still debating if romance needs an HEA and can you DNF a book? Yes, you can DNF a book, and yes, romance demands that. Okay, they really do. Okay, here we go. An author called out people who were selling her PR box, but included someone selling the final copy for $8 a year after the book was published and after having done the promo she signed up to do. So someone's mad that they're reselling. Yeah, so reselling books. That's a big thing.
I don't get it. What? What? Like, have people never been to a used bookstore? Like, you sell books. Like, the only issue I would take with this is if it was a printed ARC and it's marked as an advanced reader copy, because we know that you're not supposed to sell those. Those are not specifically for sale. But otherwise, once that book is in, this is how I feel about reviews too. Once that book is in somebody's hand, it is theirs to do with as they wish. If they want to, if they want to rip it to shreds, that's up to them. They paid their fees, they got their book, or even if they got it for free, whatever it is, that is your copy of the book to do with as you please. And if that includes reselling it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People got to pay these bills.
I agree. I don't know. Okay. This tea, I think we were even chatting about it. Number 8, I can never say that. NaNoWriMo announced that they are pro AI for authors. Like, where do we stand on that hill? Now, this is my take, because I remember they went like a whole people who have disabilities or are differently able, like they're saying it's basically ableist to not use AI. Now, here's my thing. Like, we have saying AI generally, people are going to think immediately like ChatGPT. Okay. It's just that's where we are right now. But there are different programs and things that are available to help people. So if you want to transcribe through voice or something else, that's fine. But having automatically generated stuff, I mean, make it make sense. I mean, for me, that just doesn't sit right with me, because we already know AI is just regurgitating other things that are out there and sometimes flat out making stuff up.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you, but in general, I'm pretty anti-AI, whether it's when it comes to art, when it comes to writing, whatever it might be. Like you said, there are programs to help depending on what your disability is. So I don't consider those AI. I'm not sure. Should I be considering those AI?
They are AI. It's AI.
Yeah, they are AI. And they were taking the position about it's being ableist by saying we don't, because it's a form of AI. My position on AI is if you put your content into something, right, and you're checking grammar or you're doing whatever, like that is a form of AI. Facts. I'm cool for that. If you put your content into a system, I'm okay with that. But I don't believe a system should be automatically generating anything for you. So even if you put in one sentence, 2 paragraphs, 10 pages, and you're asking it to finish, like add content, I have a problem with that. But if you put in your content whole and you're like, check this for me or whatever, use my words, then I'm cool. I'm not about this automatic thing.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's that I never even associated those as being AI things. And I think maybe that's part of the problem, is like there need to be like a separation of like how we classify them. Because I totally agree with what you're saying, Victoria, where it's like there's a difference between something doing the work for me versus something assisting me to complete or correct like what's already been done. And so in that case, like I'm all for people using the tools at their disposal. But I guess maybe it's just because of the way that I think of AI and like what in my mind that has entailed. And so I didn't even realize that we would classify those other resources as AI.
You're muted.
Oh, I was saying, what do you think, Laura?
I think like I see like I use Grammarly, I use the script for transcripts, I use it to kind of like to organize my thoughts and organize, but I put the information. So I do use ChatGPT for specific things to help me organize the thoughts. And I use Grammarly because English is my second language. I'm not, it's still like something I'm still, the grammar is not the strongest. And so I use those tools, and those tools help me for my thoughts to be more coherent. But I think it's when we're expecting AI to do the search for us, but then it's when we're expecting AI to complete thoughts or do research for us, that's when you get in trouble, because AI can make up stuff. AI is trained by other people. It's like I can tell, like, oh, I just go to ChatGPT and like, do me a list of anime lovers, and it's gonna give me the same 5 titles that have been mentioned like over and over that may or may not have the trope that you're looking for. So obviously you cannot use it for research, and I think that's when we get in trouble. Or we can use it for, create a story for me, write me a book. Like, how many AI books can we see that are regurgitating information that had nothing to do with it? Or the book summaries, like in Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. Like, let's just you write a book and there's like 20 book summaries of it, and it's all AI made up. Like, no, that's not. It's a quick cash grab that doesn't help the situation.
Yeah,
I'm just weary of all the robots like taking over the world.
Just
so
nice. I am nice to them. I say thank you, please. I am like, I have good manners to the AI. So if there's a revolution, they know that I was nice to them.
They know. They're like, no, this girl, Laura, she is so polite.
She's a keeper.
She gets extra food. She gets extra food. She gets single room accommodation. Just after bunk. Okay, so the next tea topic, again, have to shout out our sources, Jana and her books. So it's the number 3 one. So it goes back to what we were chatting about earlier with the PR box. So number 3, St. Martin's press boycott was called off and then back on. Originally, they claimed the boycott's demands had been met. Then the book talker who started the complaint critiqued that choice and claimed that no one from the most affected community participated in Readers for Accountability. Some authors are trying to inform people around the legality of some of the boycott's ask. Okay, so I immediately knew a lot of like the HR around it, because, and I mean, I know nothing about New York and New York law, never lived there, none of that, but I know they have some of the strictest labor laws, but just in general, regular labor laws without, the intensity of that, you can't dismiss a person on wrongdoing like that. So you could say something that is racist or anti-Semitic or whatever. You can't immediately fire on that offense. You have to, 1, point it out to them. You also have to provide remedies for that. There's training, there's lots of things. And I think where labor laws are concerned, like, you can't immediately call for someone's firing like that. So that's the first layer of it, the legality. But the thing I really want to talk about is more of the, how should I say, like the activism online. Like, I am happy to see a lot of it, but I have to be honest, it is hard for me to grasp where things start. What are we asking for? What is the solution? What is the end point? Like, my brain works that way. I need a point A. I need to know where we're starting, where we're going, what we're hoping to achieve, what is success, what is failure, when do we call it quits? That was very ambiguous to me, and I will admit I wasn't very online during that time. Laura had to keep me updated. It was a time when I was off social media for a bit. But it's confusing when you have different groups. And I mean, look, we're all trying to do one thing, but this is where I feel like sometimes in real life activism and in-person organizing and just having like clear directions and then doing call to actions on social media, because I think social media is good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've spent years in community organizing. Like, from an experience point of view, I think social media is great to amplify, but I do think you need to be rooted sometimes offline and have like clarity and direction and also legal help. I'm sorry. What do y'all think about it?
So I'll talk from my perspective. I work for a New York company. I work in New York for 14 years. There's a lot of legality, like there's a lot of like labor law. So it's just like you can't just fire for at will. Like you may be at will, but you might have to do a plan of action. It's not as simple as you did something wrong, we got to take action about it. So there's a lot of legality with that. There's also the fact that this boycott, really what it hurt were the marginalized authors, because this publisher does publish a lot of marginalized authors and their sales, because the people who normally will read those books and promote those books were actually not doing that. And so those are mid-list titles who may not get the book tour, may not get the PR boxes. And so the numbers, even though it kept saying you can buy the books, but if you're not sharing the books, it does hurt. And so it really, I think it's like you have to think about it like your actions. I understand like the reason why, but the actions did hurt the community that you were trying to uplift and promote and have more diversity in publishing. I think that's like one of the areas where and the authors came out and said like sales were not there. There's authors who came out and they're like, the book did not sell. There's no third book coming out. I didn't get a new contract. Who were really hurt. So
yeah.
I like you, Victoria, I was offline through a good majority of this, and what I will say that I've noticed, not just with this specific call to action, but with others as well, and I think this is alluded to a little bit in that initial recap, is that I think too often the people who are accepting the apology or the whatever action is that's been called for are not the people that should be. And I don't know. I think it taps into a lot of like performative activism. I think it taps into a lot of wanting to center yourself. And I say this very specifically as a woman in a very protected class of people in the United States, at least, that it's a lot of times people who look like me that are willing to accept the demands being met when it has nothing to do with them. And I understand that it comes from a place of wanting to help or feeling like you're helping. But I think a lot of the times it's people talking who should be listening instead.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure like who was this original girl that had originally made the call to action, and like who is this organization and who are these people? And I feel that's where I struggle, which is why I'm more outside in the real world, tangible people, call to action kind of person, because I need answers. Like I have too many questions. I want to know where we're going, and that's a whole thing in itself. Next on the train. Okay, I wanted to ask y'all, what do you think about this review bombing? So number 3 down in the second part of the thread, a couple people left poor reviews on Rebecca Yaros's book because she has to do other work in between Iron Flame or something, and people are saying like they're review bombing. Like, what are your thoughts on people review bombing, first of all, while I find the other thing?
This is, I mean, personally, and I've talked about this, I did a whole episode about this on Boobies and Noobies. As a reader and author, I think the whole like starred review system is such bullshit. Like, I hate that is the system that affects so many of us. And I love that a lot of people are actually moving away from Goodreads and into other apps. I know Storygraph is one, but there's another one I've heard a lot of people talking about lately, and I feel like it's one word. Laura probably knows because Laura already.
Fable.
What is it? Fable. Thank you. And I kind of love that people are starting to leave reviews without even doing the stars.
Mhm.
But the stars always come up. In fact, I think we talked about them in the last Bookish Tea that I was privy to, because of the way that it affects the algorithm, and
Yeah.
for both Amazon and Goodreads. But because of that, I don't like the concept of review bombing in general, but I also am not somebody who is ever going to tell people how to review books. Like, I just don't think it's specifically, like, especially as an author, my place to tell readers how to review books or how not to review books. But I don't know, it feels kind of childish to me, honestly, to just,
Yeah. I think book
especially
reviews
for that reason. That's not even a reason. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just like whenever there's like a new release and someone wants to start a new release that hasn't even, that there's no art. The book it's just been written, right? It's currently cooked up in the oven, and you're like already 1 star because I don't like you, or you have black hair.
Yeah. I work with a few authors, and I remember months before one of my authors' books came out, there was a 1-star review on her Goodreads page, and I was like, I know for a fact nobody has read this book. Like, why?
I don't know. The one thing I do know is star reviews will never be universal. It's incredibly subjective.
Yeah.
I think it's human nature to critique art. And that's the thing with books. It's like everyone has an opinion, including movies, visual art, performance, art, everything. So yeah, it's a madhouse. Okay, so on this one, it's number 9. Allegedly, and I love this, allegedly, a book talker was charging indie authors hundreds of dollars to review their books, but never made the video. I think I saw another post somewhere.
He's writing
a book. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Last week, I told you about a book talker who allegedly scammed a bunch of authors by charging them money for reviews. She never followed through on updates. She's now writing a book.
This is the same girl who also allegedly was gifted, had a wish list of books, and her followers bought her books that then she allegedly did not read and then resell them. Allegedly.
She also made videos about books that had been gifted to her and was like, oh, and when people pointed out, this was on your wish list, like, we bought this for you because you wanted it, she was like making up reasons why she didn't want. She also is the same person who, this is not this person's first offense, not only in the book talk community, because mind you, I went on a deep dive when all of this was going down, and apparently, allegedly, this same book talker, before she entered the world of book talk, like, was in trouble for scamming crystal artists on TikTok. Like, she did the same thing. She was given, allegedly, crystals that she was supposed to promo and review, didn't do it, and then allegedly got canceled in that space, and then she started her book talk account.
I want the Netflix documentary of her, a scam, or the podcast series, the Scam and podcast series. I want the mini docu-series about it, because this is allegedly white-collar crime at its best.
Okay, that's scary. I didn't realize that this wasn't this person's first crime.
No. And actually, I will say, because we are giving great shout outs to people who are doing the real work and rounding all these things up, I will say Lexi on TikTok, and her handle is at Lexia Loves, Luvs books. She has a fantastic video that basically sums up the full story and all of the offenses related to this person who we're talking about, which is, I think it's Kelly Reynolds is one of her handles. Yeah. But
I think she went dark. I think she went dark as one does.
Yeah. But now she's writing a book, allegedly.
Now she's writing a book, and then she's going to go to a new community. So watch out, knitters. Watch out, witchcrafters, watch out, witches. I don't really know where she's gonna go, but she's gonna look for the scam. Allegedly.
Allegedly. This whole thing is videos allegedly. But my question is this, right? If she's writing a book, you write a book to sell a book. So the people who read books are people in the book community. Are you expecting support from these people?
I don't know, because she did a whole video. The last one I saw, and mind you, I love that whenever people are involved in stuff on TikTok, and I consider myself somebody who's chronically online, especially on TikTok, but whenever these things happen, it's always people that I personally have never heard of or never seen. So I guess I'm doing something right in my corner of TikTok. But I guess she her last video she made about it was this whole video about how, oh, everybody is upset I'm writing a book. And then she addressed all of these questions or accusations that had apparently been hurled at her about, is she going to take material from other authors? Is she basing it on her relationship with her ex, as if any of us would know who that is? I don't know. But allegedly. And so I don't even know what it is. All I got from what she said the book is about is her life between when she was 12 and 19. And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh God.
That was some wild tea. Now, apparently, Stuff Your Kindle Day has made changes because TikTok drove so much traffic it crashed Amazon. There's been less traffic, but about the same amount of downloads. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they're not announcing the day. They're announcing the day off or the day before. They're not letting you know early on, so you can actually know the titles and tell them, like, people can do listicles and stuff like that, because Amazon thought they were being scammed, because there's all free books, and Amazon, you don't want to make money, so it just triggers something with that. Yeah. So
I get it. That's cool though that so many people are, getting those books.
Yeah, facts. Okay, so we're kind of winding down on this. Apparently, some people have been calling Christian romance asexual representation, which is just so wrong. But this is the wildest thing to me. A reviewer tagged an author in a negative review, then DM'd them and asked them to share it with their followers. Make that make sense.
What is wrong with people? Like, what? I don't understand. And look, this is nothing new. Like, the whole idea of, like, tagging authors in negative reviews. Like, this is one of those other topics that we see get recycled time and time again, along with the star reviews and should we pay book talk? I get it. But you think people would learn from their wrongs and then not do them again. And to go even beyond that and ask the author to share the book review with people, that's a whole other level of audacity that I just can't imagine.
That's what I'm saying. That is just beyond to me, just absolutely beyond. People. Then we have this bro, okay? Laura sourced this one. Somebody has to say, if you self-publish a book, then you are not a published author. You're a self-published author, which is also cool. Published authors had to work hard at the parts you threw money at to solve. So let's be fair and not falsely advertise. Thanking you.
I hate men.
I hate men. I choose a bear anytime. Bear, lions, Mudang, the hippo. Oh my gosh, I choose her every day. That's what I need. I don't need men right now.
Which, by the way, I love how Kelly said she's chronically online. My husband is never online. Man doesn't even have an account for anything, does not care. Which I'm like, God bless for being completely unbothered. However, I did tell him about the bear and choose it. And he's like, well, obviously go with the dude. I'm like, no, everyone's choosing the bear. And he's like, are men online that trashy? I'm like, yes.
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 Zero hesitation. And that's the thing. I mean, that's a whole other discussion, but I don't understand this argument because literally from one side of his mouth, this dude is saying you're not a published author, and then in the next he's saying you're a self-published author. Like it's just like
No, it's that you threw money at things that everyone else had to do the hard part.
You threw money.
That makes sense.
I just
you did everything. You don't have a team. Well, you may have a team. You have to hire the team, but like you did everything: marketing, publishing.
Yeah, you're footing the bill for everything too. Like it's all on your dime as well.
Yeah. So, but you self-publish. Okay, you do you. All right. You know what? Just go to your little corner of the internet.
Yeah, it sounds like it's spoken by somebody who is not a published author at all. Like that's a little bit bitter.
That part. Okay, Laura has this one too. The bad romance book takes lining up for threads. What do you think?
So I was actually scrolling through the threads last night, as one does, at 2:00 in the morning, and just seeing to be rage baiting. And I'm grateful for Kelly Reynolds just to basically sum up everything that I watched last night. So we had illustrated cover discourse, as always. Is HNA really necessary? Of course it is. Do we need to get warning labels for SEX? And basically there's this girl who got complaining about Icebreaker and how it was in the children's section and how spicy it is, which is not. And then it was like, what is happening? And we need to do an R rating, like a system, because, and then the parents were actually annoyed that they had to read the books if they want to, if it's appropriate for the kid, but that's the parents' job. I don't know. Okay. So we're just moving around with the same discourse over and over. And then we got, the self-published and the published author.
Yeah, I was going to say, literally everything that's lined up in that photo is something that we have covered in today's discussion. So I mean, it just goes to show you how often those come back around.
They
I
do.
do it for rage baiting. I know threats actually give you money. They have if you have engagement, so they do Meta like throwing money out to to the world. So I think you do it to be in the threats creator program, so you can get hundreds of dollars for your rage baiting comments that are just recycled. Again, same goes with, I didn't get approved to this so-and-so problem, this publisher. I didn't get the PR box. Can you send me a PR box? Can you send me this? Same thing over and over. It does not going to give you money. It's not viral.
It's so interesting to me though, because I know that people do this on TikTok as well, that they rage bait for whatever reason, probably money. But it's just crazy to me because, for example, when we were talking about that TikToker who's allegedly writing a book, is it worth it to rage bait for that one-time cash grab versus you've now created this reputation for yourself in a space that it's one thing if you don't ever want to be a part of that space, but if you do, you're now going to have this attached to you moving forward. So I've never really understood the whole concept of rage baiting specifically within a community that you want to be a part of. It does not add up to me.
Also, I'm like, isn't it just a whole bunch of negativity? Because I mean, that's how I feel. Everything. Yeah. Look, I love a good gossip session, okay? Because I'm talking about it, and then I shut off here, and I am good. But these people really feel these feelings to some degree, especially when you're complaining about something or you want to let somebody know, this is what this is. This isn't coming from a happy, good, peaceful place. I'm just can I give y'all that? Do y'all want a hug? What is it? Can we go buy some crumble cookies? Let's go get some Starbucks. Because I'm it's from that one guy going off. I'm okay, clearly you're angry at something or someone. And then the girl scamming all these people. I'm sis, why? There's so many legal ways to make money on the internet, outside in the real world. I mean, come on, why? Why do we kind of have to resort to this? Yes, we can debate whether jobs pay you fairly or not. That's a whole separate thing. But to scam people though, that is a hard one for me.
I think the other thing is that a lot of these people need a group chat of friends, like that can call you on it before you can put it in. Like I have a group chat. We are part of various group chats that we can actually go and do a stream of consciousness of like, here's what's going on in my world. I didn't get this. I didn't do this. And then they can call on you to say like, dumbass, you're doing things that you're not supposed to.
That's it. Laura's the smartest one here. That's exactly what people need. People need a group chat. Because I'm not saying you don't have the feelings, like have the feelings, but the fact that you're having the feelings on the internet, right? Like for public consumption, for people who don't know you, for people who don't like you, but for just like everything. And I'm like, you can vent, but I recommend venting in a group chat. That is what the group chat is for. Everyone needs a group chat. Everyone needs a group chat. Actually, that should be a public service. You go to a place and you're like, this is my age. This is where I am in life. This is what I hate. This is what I love. And they're like, okay, we have the group chat for you. That should be the service.
That sounds like a plot for a book.
Oh,
yeah. There we go. There we go. The author's thinking that could be a plot. I think honestly, like connect and look for communities. I know this is a great place to start looking for like-minded people, and that's how we make friends. We all met on the internet. We all met each other in some way, in some form. But take it outside from like not just having your threads, Insta stories, your book talk to just be a stream of consciousness or whatever the thing. We're not Carrie Brashaw's. We're not getting paid to be in like writing a column about our dating life. Like Sex and the City is a fever dream. It did not exist. And so,
which I just started rewatching, by the way.
What do you think now watching it?
So I have to say, and I've wanted to do this for a while, so nobody steal my idea. But one of the ideas for a podcast that I've thought about doing for a while is rewatching Sex and the City, specifically including somebody who has not seen Sex and the City. And then every episode we answer Carrie's dumbass question that she asks in her column. Because 9 out of 10 times they're the stupidest questions ever. But I will say every once in a while you do watch it and you're like, wow, this was really ahead of its time. Like this conversation, I didn't expect. Like I'm in season 1 right now. Completely different tone of the show versus the rest of the series. Very similar to Friends. Very different first season compared to the rest of the show. So nobody.
Are you watching the redo? Just like that.
Or are you watching?
I
don't know. I watched the first season of And Just Like That, and I think that was enough.
Better. No, it's better. I did not watch it first. I only watched the episode where whatever happens, and then I was at home. My mom watches it, so because I got her into Sex and the City back in the day, so she's like diehard. And then I ended up watching halfway through season 2, and it wasn't as bad as it was the first season. So it got better. It's entertaining. You're not looking for, Oscar-worthy performance. Like
no,
this is not.
And honestly, that's not what I expected from it either. Because I think the part that made me most upset, I don't want to turn this into a Sex and the City show, but it was that I feel like they changed the characters so much from the original series to And Just Like That. Unnecessarily so. Like, obviously, you would expect there to have been some changes, like over the course of 10, 15 years. But I just feel like they were leaning into so many stereotypes. And then the fact that they made like Miranda the Karen character and not Charlotte was just like wild to me. Like there were just so many things that felt out of place.
Okay, so in defense of that, because I did watch the first and I was very disappointed because Miranda was kind of like this, character. I think when I watched it, I was in Clubhouse and we were having all these conversations. So it was like a multitude of voices. And I think one of the things we kind of concluded is the fact that eventually a lot of us will end up being that Karen character. Like even the person who is the most, astute, aware, just, has a pulse, is more realistic. Even they can fumble. Because I think that is also something I find myself kind of, if you don't make a conscious effort to like be a part of culture and the tide as it changes, you're wondering like, wait, what? I mean, there was like an award show the other day. I forgot what it was. And I was like, oh shit, am I the age now where I don't know who the people are performing on stage?
The VMAs. 20 years ago, I knew what was happening. Now I'm like,
I knew like half of them. I was like pretty impressed that I was like, hey, Teddy Swims. I know who that is.
I don't know who that is. I'm old. I'm a geriatric millennial. Like, no.
Which, by the way, did you see Old Navy calling out geriatric millennials on the damn thing?
I don't want to talk about it.
Look, it's expensive now. Only we remember when the shirts were like $2, like 1994.
Back in my day.
It's expensive. But we're now those people. So it's like in the shows, I think it's important to kind of show that. And I also think it's important to show that you can, you know what I was grateful for people to see that people make mistakes.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Without intending, like clearly she's not doing it from a malicious place, and that is the most important thing. It's kind of like when you call people out online, the first thing they're willing to say is, oh, I'm not X or I'm not Y, I'm not a bad person. Like, we get it, but it happens. So I watched the second one, it was better. I think they have a third. I was very wary of watching the remakes, and we went down this whole television rabbit hole. So let me just tell everyone, trash TV is back. Watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Trash TV at its highest levels.
I have been saving it. I have been saving it for when I finish the book. Like I've got a list. The other thing, trash TV and mystery TV. There's like a bunch of new ones, but I've got Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the new season of The Circle.
I heard that's okay.
There's one more.
Love
That's like
coming back. Love is Blind is coming back. DC edition.
That's
So
it.
we get
DC.
that. But I would say just prioritize Secret Lives. It's the gift
Tonight.
that keeps on giving. Mormon women give us the best reality TV show that you can expect. I'm gonna
start it tonight.
We get a wish version of supposedly Ben Affleck's cousin. We get an arrest. We get a pea stick in a cake.
Listen, the show is so unhinged.
Someone leaving the group chat and nobody telling you, why did you leave the group chat?
Wait, okay, so like, because you both have watched it already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so am I remembering this incorrectly? Maybe I feel like whenever like a Mormon documentary or something comes out, there's usually like 3 more. So I could very well be confusing this with something else related to Mormons. But is this the one where like they had like secret group sex parties?
It's a TikTok scandal, essentially.
Okay.
A TikTok scandal.
Okay.
Spinned off this reality TV show. So the scandal on TikTok, left TikTok, they filmed a pilot. They're like, oh my gosh. Producers saw this. They're like, this is gold. And then they didn't pick up cameras till it was so obvious a year later. I promise you, it was around that time. And then they picked up filming. So the first episode is so unhinged in the best way. Yeah, and I'm so excited. I'm so invested. I need to visit Utah. I have to go there.
And then we have Salt Lake City, the Real House of Salt Lake City, which is like
which I do want to watch.
And then we have Sister Wives on the side. We got the OG polyamory ringlets.
By the way, just so people know, like aside from the large Mormon population, Utah is very lovely. I've been there many times.
Oh, good. I'm selling my husband on it. We'll do good outdoor activities. There's great
It's
hiking.
beautiful.
There might
It's
be good
beautiful.
fishing. I'm like, let's find a
And then
lake.
you go
Let's
to the
find a
beauty lab.
mountain.
Then you go to the beauty lab and pay laser.
Exactly.
parking lot.
I drop them off at some food place, and then I drive to Beauty Lab and laser parking lot, and I'm like, okay, Jen Shaw was arrested here. Let me take in the smell. Let me breathe it in.
Group trip to Salt Lake City. Here we go, kids.
Let's do it. I want to go so bad.
Let's go drink some dirty sodas and just enjoy. It's 44 ounces.
Apparently, they don't drink coffee or alcohol or stuff like that, but sodas is a big thing.
They can have ketamine too. You can do ketamine,
right? Because that is okay.
It's okay, but no hot coffee. No
but
coffee.
Frappuccinos. No.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Bringing it back to the bookish drama. Did I miss anything? Kelly, did you have any tea?
Okay. The only thing I wanted to mention is the failed Bridgerton ball in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Okay.
Let me
Let me paint you a little picture. And honestly, this is not even going to do it justice. So please, and there's been news coverage of this as well. So you can literally do a quick Google search and find local Michigan news covering this event. So I think we all remember a few years ago when like Bridgerton was first airing and Netflix did this series of sponsored events around the country where they called it like Bridgerton Experience, and you would dress up, you would come dance and eat and drink, and this is not that, because this was put on by a local event planning company. Tickets were sold for, I think I saw, over $200 a piece, and people were told to wear their finest, Bridgerton attire. And let me tell you, when you find the outfits people wore to this thing, they looked good. Like, people did not cheap out on what they wore. They were told there would be food, there would be musical entertainment, and I think they were even promised a play, that it was going to be like an evening of Bridgerton. You would watch a play with the queen, the diamond of the season would be chosen. So when I tell you that they showed up to basically like an empty ballroom, and not even like the grand ballroom, I'm talking like ballroom C at like the local Hyatt, and that the food ran out after the first hour. The musical entertainment was a single violinist, and the performance that they were meant to enjoy was a pole dancer.
Oh my gosh.
Look, I'm impressed, like, that anybody could do that around a pole, but like, this is and then the decor was like those plastic backdrops that you would buy for like a kid's birthday party on like 2 walls. And then there's just all these photos of people sitting in their gowns on the floor looking at their cell phones, just like so dejected. And Laura described it perfectly in her text to me, which was, it's the Fire Festival of Bridgerton.
Oh my gosh.
This is the Wonka experience in Glasgow. Did you see that one? The Wonka with the little.
Yes.
It's like the Detroit version of the Wonka experience.
Okay, and you just pulled it up. Okay, so we're giving credit to the Detroit Metro Times, so metrotimes.com. They're saying people spent on the low end $200 up to, some people got VVIP, Laura, VVIP, $1,000. No, this is sad.
And I don't think there was any mention. I think that they have talked to the company that put it on, and that they've acknowledged that like they messed up. But last I checked, there had been no discussion of like refunds. There was nothing about like if they were going to try and do it again, or like my question is always where the money went. So I'm very curious. And I will say, along with like local news, there definitely are people on TikTok who have given their firsthand accounts as like a come with me as I get scammed and show up to the Bridgerton ball in Detroit, but there's nothing there. So there are people on TikTok who have kind of given their own personal accounts of it. But I was stunned, speechless when it was the pole dancer for me. Like, I mean, the rest of it was like really bad to begin with. But then when the entertainment that they had hired was one woman and her pole,
Listen, and let's make it very clear, we support pole dancers. We're just saying,
God, yes.
This is not Bridgerton worthy entertainment. That's all we're saying. Okay.
She was very talented.
Yeah.
Very talented.
I think it's not the right setting for it.
It's not the right setting. It's just not the right setting. So I just pulled it up, and one person said, although the venue was nice, the decor was sparse and extremely tacky. It wasn't even Bridgerton themed. We spent $400 on tickets for a complete BS experience. I read that the event company made hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue for this event. It's clear they pocketed everything. And they said many guests reported that no one even checked tickets at the door. And someone is calling it Detroit Scamaton Ball. And saying, can you imagine walking into a Bridgerton themed ball with and they refer to the pole dancer as a stripper for entertainment. Wow. All seats were taken. Even if you purchased a VIP ticket, you had nowhere to sit. Dinner was disgusting and most people couldn't get through to eat. Alcohol was supposed to be included. Take a wild guess, no alcohol. And vendors were selling little no more than Kit Kats. Kit Kats. Kit Kats.
Oh my God. Yeah, because think about this. Like if let's say, okay, we had $200 tickets, we had $1,000 tickets. Let's say $400 was like the average. I mean, if you're talking about 100 people attending this thing, that's $40,000 right there. Mm-hmm. Like I and look, no matter how talented that violinist and that pole dancer are, that's not 40 grand. That's not where that money goes. So I am all kinds of curious.
And also, they say it was rescheduled, and apparently they said the other venue couldn't hold them, so they went to this other venue. But then someone, behind the scenes is saying the company lied. It's actually the venue had to cancel the original venue. So remember, they said they changed it from this venue. So they changed from venue A to venue B, saying venue A didn't have enough room. So that's why we're booking venue B. But venue A, someone, I guess, on the back end from venue A is coming out and saying, that's not the case. They had to cancel because the organizers did not pay the remaining money on, for the location. So it makes sense. It's like you pay down a certain amount, you book the location, but then it's like you have another benchmark of when you should pay money. And clearly they did not make that. So hence it became a scamaton ball.
Yeah, I really hope that there's more coverage of it. I hope everybody gets their money back. But oh, golly. I know you mentioned what is it, the scamanda. I love a good like scam. I don't want people to get scammed, obviously, but like to bring it full circle back to like scamming people on TikTok and like rage baiting, like I'm always just so interested in like the motivation behind a scam. Like I would almost understand it, not condone it, but I would almost understand it if somebody was like scamming people out of money because like they had to pay for I don't know, like some to save their house or like medical bills or something. Like I could almost understand that. But like I'm like, what's the story behind this? Like why did they do this? Like, and you had to know people would turn up because the fandom is huge, but like, what's happening? Where's the money going? Who did this? Like, I want to know everything.
It's a get rich quick scheme. It's like the idea, like I can make a quick buck out of it and stuff like that. And to be honest, it's not for the sick person. It's chances are it's for the Lamborghini or the Porsche or the boat or the mansion. As someone who works in that field and sees that thing, like with law enforcement, everyone just like they want to have the aspirational life. They're like, look how rich I am,
Yeah.
For the
Capitalism. Once again.
Capitalism, there we go. It
We're
always comes back to
back
it.
to
Real bad
capitalism.
guy.
I know, but here's the thing. I too can even play, the other side of the coin because I always like, balance in a conversation. Let's say they had the best intentions, right? And they wanted to do this event and whatever. It is clear there was gross mishandling of funds, gross mismanagement, not simply mishandling, just mismanagement. Like, I know so many people, they'll hire too much people ahead of time. They will do too much things. But I'm like, even if you did lots of things and you realize, oh my gosh, like, own it, show up, apologize to patrons, do something. I would just at least make sure there was a bomb ass step and repeat. I'm just keeping it real. If your things aren't falling through, I'm making sure you have a bomb ass step and repeat with some props, and at least you're walking away with some cute pictures. But that's just me personally.
But the pictures were actually, the photographer was an issue too, because they were airdropping. They didn't have like a legit photographer to take the pictures. So they were like this airdropping situation. So it even the pictures were not even that good.
All right. Okay. I can't save these people. I am done.
No. Good try though.
I'm just saying, mismanagement of funds is a thing. But anyways, I don't think we have any more tea, do we? No, I think that's it for today. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. This has been grand. Laura, anything else? Let me see. Wait, do I have the calendar for next week? What are we doing next week?
I don't know.
Next
What are we
week is
doing?
October, isn't it?
October. I think we're still doing some romantic stuff or some thrillers, or I don't even know.
Listen,
We came up with our titles. We came up with our thing like months ago. Let's go.
Listen, I don't remember, but what I do know is on the outro, there will be some message saying what we're doing next. That's all I know.
Oh, you know what next week is October 3rd, aka Mean Girls Day.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
You should wear pink.
We're wearing pink. There we go.
We're wearing pink. We're wearing pink. Oh my gosh. Good point. We're wearing pink. I'm going to find pink. I have pink. But anyway, thank you all for joining Novel Nights Live. Pray for Francesca that the storm surge doesn't flood her area. Laura too, because I'm just saying, water reaches far.
I'm here in the wind. So it's a
You're here in the wind.
I'm going to be thinking about all of you.
Thank you.
Listen, Laura's dedicated. Laura's in the middle of the hurricane. I'm on the other side of the state, and we're streaming live. So, yes, God bless. But anyways, I hope you'll join us next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be wearing pink. Thanks, Kelly. Bye, Laura.
Bye.
Bye.